Welcome to Restaurant Deal Making Exposed, the only show that equips you with everything you need to know about restaurant transactions. In this show, we tell you all about how to make the sale or purchase of your restaurant not just possible, but successful. Now here are your hosts, ex-restaurateurs and seasoned brokers, Patrick Toda and Andy Mirabel.
All right, everyone, we're starting episode 13 here. It's called Inside a Thriving Restaurant Group. Growing a restaurant group is a monumental task, and most operators rarely succeed in operating one location, let alone 14 with multiple concepts and styles. Today, I'm pleased and proud to have my dear friend of over 25 years, Jordan Cressman, on the show with us. So welcome, Jordan. I'm going to plug you a little bit here, so give me one more second. Jordan, through hard work, dedication, and hyper-focus, has climbed the ranks from barback to bar and restaurant mogul. Jordan is a VP of Operations and partner for Baja Sharkeez Restaurant Group. Jordan works with the Newmans, who thrived by owning and operating casual beach bars and eateries in the South Bay of Greater Los Angeles, starting decades ago and continuing today. With the help of Jordan Cressman, Baja Sharkeez Restaurant Group has grown to 14 locations, including 5 Sharkeez, 2 sandbars in Huntington and Santa Barbara, a Panama Joe's in Long Beach, an Irish pub, 3 upscale Mexican eateries called Esperanza and Two Palmillas, and 2 beach bars called Tower 12. Jordan and I attended and wreaked havoc on Loyola Marymount University, and we graduated in 2001. We lived together, we worked together, which all was quite a ride. I have no shortage of respect for what Jordan has built professionally, and personally, he is a dedicated dad of 2 beautiful girls. Welcome so much, Jordan.
Thank you for the kind introduction, Andy. Much appreciated.
Today, we really, want to kind of learn some things through your eyes and your experiences growing up. I mean, you literally started this before we were 20 years old. Back in Manhattan Beach running the Sharkeez show, and we were modest barbacks and bartenders, and then jumped into management, and I think everyone kind of started peeling off, and you hung in there, and you've built this fantastic thing that is it's like the unicorn. These things are hard to attain and grow, and it's all so much hard work, but in this industry, it can be really brutal. So we definitely want to just ask you a few questions about your background and what's going on now. So let me get started. So for my listeners, I guess I can retire my best friend Jordan here, his nickname Sluggo from college. Obviously, that connotation means lazy, and he is not that. That was a very long time ago. Tell us about your rise in the industry and how you manage your personal and professional life, given all you have right now going on.
Well, you worked at Sharkeez Manhattan with me long time ago. So I hung in there, like you said, for a few more years after that. I was looking at other things. We had 4 stores at the time: Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, Santa Barbara, and Newport Beach. And the Huntington Beach location came along. And Greg, as you know, the owner, had said, "Hey, hang in there, hang with me. I'll get you something, see what you can do." I went down there. When we first buy locations, 9 times out of 10, we operate it as is for a few months, just to make, get our hands in there, see what's happening, see what the crowd down there is all about, see what the location is like. And usually to make sure, we have enough money to do the job. Back then, with 4 locations, we obviously weren't doing what we're doing now. So I went down there, ran it as is for probably 8 months, and went down there, put in 80, 90 hours a week, sleeping in my car, just doing the best that we could down there. We closed it, started doing the remodel. The GM at the time at Sharkeez Manhattan was not doing well. I went back. I was working in Hermosa during this period before we reopened Sharkeez in Huntington. And then when we reopened, he gave me the nod and went down there, and, same thing, continued, 90-hour weeks. I had 1 lead or manager at the time with myself. When we thought we were going to open, we thought we were going to do, 40, 50,000 was kind of our take on it. And we ended up doing 70, 80 a week right off the bat. So
can I pause you on one thing, Jordan?
Yeah.
I think you said something that was really interesting for the listeners. And I think I wanted to ask Patrick, did you hear he says when they purchase a location, they don't just kick the tires by touring it and looking at the financials. They actually get in and operate it as is for a while. I don't hear hardly any of my clients ever doing that. And it seems to be a tactic that is really working. Have you have clients that do this too, Patrick?
I mean, it depends what their overall, what they want to do with the location. Like, are you talking about basically coming in and running the operation as is before switching it to one of your Sharkeez or anything like that?
Yeah, correct. I mean, ultimately it's a cash flow decision, but it also actually really helps based on, your footprint in the community. You want to create jobs. You want to meet new people. You want to go down there quickly and not come down as the cocky person coming into the market. So we kept every single employee that worked there at the time. And I went in there and, you start off slow and you try not to go down there and like chop everyone's heads off. So everyone in the community, thinks you guys are like coming into town with
Guns blazing.
Yeah. So are you guys doing any kind of like remodeling when you take over a location? Is your plan to come in and take it as is and look for locations like that?
Yeah, Patrick, every single one is different. I can walk you through them as we go along. That one, you put a little bit of money, you upgrade the TVs, you upgrade the sound system, you put your own menu in, you take that menu and you do the best thing that you can with it before you change the menu completely, do a few things to the kitchen, and you run it as is until you shut it down and do the complete remodel. So that's what happened in that situation. Everything that we've taken over since then has been a little bit different.
What's your latest project?
Well, it was Pacific Beach.
Down in San Diego.
And you had mentioned Tower 12. So this is a Tower 12 concept, which is, a California retrospective beach bungalow type, American fare that's casual, solid craft cocktails, beers on tap, kind of like you're partying in a Malibu beach house. We changed the name. The one in Hermosa is called Tower 12. This one's called the Hideaway. Mm-hmm. There's a hotel in San Diego called Tower 23, which is like 2 blocks away.
Mm-hmm. You don't want market confusion, yeah.
We actually bought that. So sometimes these things sit because when we bought that, we were working on Palmilla and Newport last year. So the last 4 summers, we've opened a restaurant. So it was the Hideaway Pacific Beach this last year. The year before that was Palmilla and Newport. The year before that was Sandbar in Huntington. And the year before that was Esperanza. As we've gone, every one of these that we've opened has been our number 1 store the last 4 years.
Wow. Congratulations. It's just amazing the volume you guys do. Obviously, I have an inside line with you and we talk regularly. So the numbers are pretty staggering. And that just really goes to show your industry prowess. So congrats to you. That really kind of segues, Patrick, into maybe talking about some of the locations and how he gets there.
You're talking about all these really prime locations. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you guys look for these locations and find these really prime locations in the right area?
So first and foremost, Andy, you worked at Sharkeez for a long time. And Sharkeez was, Patrick, I don't know what kind of places you like to hang out at or eat at, but Sharkeez is great. But, we've kind of outgrown that concept for a place that we're passionate about and that we want to hang out at. It's, a little bit more younger crowd. It's a college bar, fish tacos, margaritas, busy late nights. But, what it comes down to is Sharkeez is still probably the most profitable. It's the ability to make 50 cents, 52 cents on the dollar in the summer months is not out of the question. But because we have those locations, we have our ear to the ground in each one of those cities. And that's kind of how these other concepts sprouted. Things we were passionate about, we loved the upscale Mexican food concept. We loved the Tower 12 concept. And we had to think of other concepts because I don't know anything about Sacramento where you guys live, but I know a lot about Hermosa Beach and I know a lot about, Newport Beach. And when we have your ear to the ground in that community, you kind of hear things before anyone else. All of our restaurant deals are different. We have multiple agents in every single city, and a lot of people call on you, but a lot of these deals are made before they hit market.
With your kind of volume, when you have these inside lines to whether it's a building owner, landlord, or something might be changing hands, how interested and how often in your conversations about your leases do percentage rents come up because of the sheer volume that you guys do?
Most all of ours are percentage rent. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Great.
And let me ask you this. Do you guys look at it? Is it like an eye test when you go down to like Pacific Beach, or do you look at demographics about like what kind of spending patterns or, how many people are in the area? What is on the backside of that?
So Pacific Beach is a great example because, like I said, we've been going down there for 10, 15 years looking for locations. And we've seen every single place down there. And our real estate agent down there is a dear friend of ours, and he's really good. And he knows the ins and outs because, it's great. Like someone like Andy, who's been in the business before and been an owner and operator, knows both sides of it. So I can see the value in what you guys do up there because we got a lot of guys that call and they're like, oh yeah, hey, check out this place in Newport Beach that's empty. A guy that just called us, they're like, this place is great. It's got a liquor license. It's got a seat. We're like, there's no way this place has a 2 a.m. CUP or this place wouldn't be vacant, Oh no, it's got a liquor license.
They're not digging into the details that really suit your needs specifically.
So you end up spending time like going through it all with them. And again, 9 times out of 10, if there's an empty vacant place in Newport Beach, something's wrong.
Makes sense.
We try not to buy places that don't have liquor license because the kind of operation and the locations that we have, trying to post one, 9 times out of 10, they'll put a bunch of conditions on it.
Yeah, it's gotten harder and harder. We deal with that all the time. And, I like what you said, and I'll shamelessly plug Patrick and I that we've all owned restaurants. And, that's why we can see these things through your eyes and be a better agent for you or others.
Yeah.
And the conditions that either the community pushback or ABC is putting on a lot of these places that want to be open till 2 a.m. or are liquor heavy. I mean, I'm sure you're jumping through 10 times more hoops than you were a decade ago even.
Oh, 100%. I wish there was more guys like you. Our guy in San Diego is like you guys. He specializes in bars and restaurants and knows, the ins and outs of liquor license, CUPs, posting, has relationships with guys down there. So the interesting thing is we've known this guy for 15, 20 years, and we've found the location we wanted. We're like, we want that location. We want that place. And it was a Mexican restaurant called Fat Fish.
Not Pescado Gordo?
Yeah. The building owner down there owns a lot of real estate in the area. And this place, it's kind of like a junky Mexican food restaurant. So we went down and met with her multiple times. Basically the way that we got that deal done was, we had our real estate agent. We went and we presented and showed her what we wanted to do there. It's funny. People ask me, they're like, "Oh yeah, do you get like TI?" I'm like, "TI, like the places we buy."
Not in those places, huh?
Yeah. No, the TI is like we put $5 million into your building and make you stoked to have a concept that you're going to be proud of, and you can say, "Hey, look, I own this building right here. Check out my new tenants. Look how busy this place is," and you can send all your friends there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that conversation with the landlord typically easier with you guys because you have these large, successful concepts? Or do you have a lot of challenges with getting landlords on board? I mean, I know how difficult landlords can be in general, and I'm just curious to see if you guys have an easier way with them given your success.
If it's in an area that we're already in and people know who we are, then it's a little bit easier. 9 times out of 10, we know the landlord in our area. If someone owns a building down the street or something, we have a relationship with them. In San Diego, we didn't, but they're lovely people. We went down, we gave them a little presentation. Tower 12 in Hermosa Beach is kind of like a homage to Hermosa Beach. There's a lot of decor and history there when it comes to the beach community, whether it be volleyball or music or whatever it is. Pennywise, different pictures, cool stuff on the wall. And we made sure when we went down to San Diego, we did the same thing. And we told the landlords we were going to do that. So we put all these like local historic surf pictures from Wind and Sea down there in La Jolla and Sunset Cliffs and Pacific Beach. And we made like a homage to the city. And, we came down there humble and we said, "Hey, look, we just want to make this town better. We're not coming here to take everyone's business. We want to make sure everybody's busy." And San Diego's been very gracious. They're probably one of the best landlords that we have. And they liked what we had to say. And sometimes you can get the deal done far before their lease is up. They were trying to make their decision whether they wanted these people to stay and not invest any money in their actual building or have someone new come in and be like, "Hey, we want to make this better."
That's funny. A good segue too. I guess it's really plain to say that you really prove that location is vital, right? I mean, you have A+ locations. With my second restaurant, I got a little tunnel vision coming home to Sacramento on the K Street corridor, and it was too young for me. And I totally missed the mark with bringing my SF style concept here. I had to casualize it down, very quickly after about a year and a half. I'm like, this ain't cutting it. So you're really great at that.
Well, it's interesting you say that because now that we have these other concepts, when we have locations that come our way, it's not so cookie cutter. You don't just have school or one concept that you say that you want to put there right now.
Mm-hmm.
We opened Sandbar in Huntington and we have this Palmilla concept and Esperanza concept, which is, great for Newport Beach. But Huntington Beach is not Newport Beach. I don't know how much time you guys have spent in Orange County, but it's just a whole different, a little bit more, I don't want to say blue collar, but it's just a little bit younger, a little bit less money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you would have plopped a Palmilla, which was our original idea in the Huntington Beach, $15 margaritas, I don't think it would have worked well.
Yeah. Well, that just goes to show you really focus on, the reality of the demographics and these locations and what to put there. Palmilla, for example, because I've been there a couple of times, it's fantastic. It's super elevated and, fine dining-esque, and it's lovely. I guess I'm curious because we've had other restaurant group owners on. Michael Karp was on one of our episodes, and he's big in Napa in the Bay Area. Tell us how have your styles changed, your management style changed with your teams? Because, I know you when we were working together in the 20s, you were a pretty strict dude, you know what I mean? And that came across like that. And I know personally, so what you've evolved and you have different philosophies in your mind now. So, but share with our listeners how it's changed.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, the whole generation we grew up in was, I know your parents well, you've known my parents for a long time. I think the whole generation that we grew up in was just taught things and a little bit differently, I mean, I hate to say it, but the The younger ones are a little bit soft now.
Sensitive.
A little more sensitive.
Yeah.
You can't come at people the way that you used to back when we were coming up through ranks.
Good point.
You need to transition a little bit and be a little bit more, leading with love and not so harsh on everybody. So, there's still times and people you can do that with. We're pretty strict on our GMs, and we have, multiple cameras in every location. Andy, the things we used to try to pull back in the day, we would never get away with.
No. Would the bar bites work back in the day? Different story, different conversation. Yeah. But it shows that you've really rounded out your train of thought. You've evolved in how your management style is. And you just really do support your team. You talk very highly of everybody and you're very calm, and I've seen it. So that's neat, because we see a lot of people get really stuck in their ways and it can backfire.
Yeah, you have to be able to transition, or I don't think you'll make it in this day and age. And the good thing is a lot of our partners and a lot of the GMs, I'm like, it's kind of like you and I, but they're like best friends that are, trying to make it as well. And we're all trying to make money together. And so, we're kind of a big team here.
That's great. I noticed you guys have all this success with all these great locations. Do you have any failed locations or failed concepts that you can talk of?
I wouldn't say failed. We have slower locations. Sharkeez Manhattan, where you worked, Andy, is, not an A+ location. It's a B- location over there in El Porto, North Manhattan. It pays the bills, but it's not putting a bunch of money in all of our pockets. And, I guess the way we look at it is, it's better to run it as is and do the very best you can than to close it, because closing restaurants is a bad look.
Yeah.
Do you learn something from these other locations that maybe aren't as successful? Do you take that as feedback for, going further?
You got to work harder. You don't have the foot traffic that the other locations have. So it's a little bit more late night promotions. It's a little less dining. It's a little bit more, stuff we used to do, Andy, dropping school buses and having college promoters in Santa Barbara and in Manhattan and making sure those nights go off. And even the Friday and Saturday nights don't come free in those areas.
We were talking earlier, and it just keeps coming up in our conversations with other guests and so on, and with our own clients, because we've seen a large decline overall with volume in the Bay Area. It really started, things really started dropping off again in end of 2023, and folks are still struggling to meet their sales goals. But drinking, it's a different habit now for the younger generations. Is that something you're seeing in SoCal and with you, or?
Yeah. People talk about, psilocybin and, THC, staying home. Yeah, Mike, and people wanting to be, more healthy and mocktails and stuff.
It's easier to drink by the beach. So I could drink anytime by the beach, and you're by the beach everywhere.
I know.
Are we seeing that kind of pattern near like the colleges, like in their Pacific Beach location, or can we count on them to be drinking there?
You can count on them to be drinking. I think, yes, there are probably less people drinking, but it's funny when one of my GMs says, oh, the college kids just don't party like they used to. Well, you haven't found the right ones, because they're there. They're there.
Yeah.
You got the wrong guy.
They're the ones that are buying bottles at Costco and going to the beach.
Yeah. Then similarly, let's not talk about college students, because you have many upscale locations and concepts. Do you see drinking trends dropping off a little bit in the more upscale or fine dining establishments you have?
No.
This is great. NorCal needs to learn a little bit from these SoCal people.
I think, ultimately it's just an excuse, It's just, you could blame it on the weather. You could talk about people aren't drinking as much, but really what you need to do is get in there and grind it out and find a way that your drink sales are going to stay up, So, overall, right now, we had a pretty good August, and September is leveled off a little bit after Labor Day. We're about even overall right now based on last year. Ultimately, obviously, COVID was tough. The year after COVID was complete gangbusters, because everyone just wanted to be out. I don't know if you guys were still in the restaurant business at that time or doing what you're doing, but we had no happy hour, no drinks, but it was like, hey, guess what? We're open. Come out, pay full price.
Yeah.
So, profit margins were heavy that year. And then the last few years, they've been good. They're not like that year, but it's been good.
I think I took a phrase out of one of Patrick's questions here, but you just brought up the pandemic. So, what since the pandemic, what has changed from your perspective with your restaurants and businesses?
So the pandemic, we got in there and we were running like heavy to-go business. We were trying, as you know.
How does that work for an upscale places? That never worked for me at school. I couldn't shift it enough to take out.
We did like 15, 16K at Palmilla in Hermosa on on Cinco de Mayo one year. during takeout.
Wow.
But we're also, here's the difference, Andy. So some of these beach cities were a little bit more strict than others. So we were also doing takeout drinks. And Palmilla has this like fantastic patio. So everyone was going to the beach and picking up tacos and doing their own Cinco de Mayo down there. And we were just slamming margaritas out the window.
That makes sense. I remember going on dates and getting drinks in the Mission and going to Dolores Park and sitting outside. And, we paid through the nose for those drinks, but they sure were worth it and felt good.
Totally. So in Huntington, they'd let you sit on, you were allowed to have people on your patio. So we had days where people would come in, order their food, and then come sit out there. And we would do, pretty solid days like that. And like I said, we opened right after COVID. It's good and it's bad. We opened right after COVID. We're like, no happy hour, no this. We just want to make money. Boom. We weren't paying promoters. I mean, we weren't anything. We were like, let's grind it out, bare bones, and like make our profit margins huge. And it probably, what we learned, instead of like starting to put a few of these specials and like promoters and stuff back in earlier, because I think people got lazy. Some of the people that worked for us were like, wait, I forget how to promote again. I forget how to grind it out and get all my friends in here. I forget how to do all the things that I used to do because, that last year when things are that good, it makes you lazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so then they had a year to kind of get things back to normal. We're like, hey, we got to get back to doing all the things that we did before. The business isn't just walking in anymore. So let's get time to start promoting. Here comes Taco Tuesday again. Here comes happy hour. Here comes all the things that we had to do. So, looking back, I probably would have started all that stuff a little bit earlier instead of trying to be so greedy and make every single cent back from COVID that we lost.
Where are you guys on delivery? I mean, do you guys have ghost kitchens because you have these large locations? Do you guys do DoorDash and Uber Eats and all that stuff?
So we do, yeah. We have a tablet that's called Otter that you can do DoorDash, Uber Eats, all the platforms through the same template. And it was pretty good post-COVID a little bit, when you could still do a bunch of booze delivered and we had our like cocktails batched and pre-made and capped and stuff. Honestly, it's gone completely downhill now. Our upscale concepts, Palmilla and Esperanza, do a little bit, but it's gone downhill also because, as you guys know, as restaurant operators, they take, so much money. It's not anything where you can make money. So we raised our prices like 6 months ago to cover those costs. And since we've raised our prices so high, it's been less.
Do you have to raise your prices across the board? I mean, are you talking about just on those platforms, or do you also likewise have to do it in-house?
No, just on the platforms.
Yeah, you don't have to do that anymore like they used to make you.
They used to have to be consistent.
Have you thought about doing any kind of like ghost kitchen where you're offering just a very consolidated menu out of like your locations that are only available through DoorDash?
I mean, the money's not really in the food. It's definitely not in delivery. It was kind of like just a little cherry on top. We weren't even... When you look through your P&L and you're looking at it, you're like, okay, you're paying 30% to them.
Oh, God, there's nothing left.
We upgraded our plastic and our to-go ware to make it look super nice and blah, blah, blah. And then by the time you're done, you're like, okay, it's kind of a wash.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy to hear that. I personally hate delivery apps, and I'm glad to hear that you have a concept that you don't need to have that as part of your revenue.
Yeah. During COVID, that was our bread and butter. I mean, just to like, even stay alive. I mean, it was not like it was making us money. It was more of us like, okay, let's try to be the best as we can at this because there's nothing else to do right now. And we're not going to close.
Wow. Patrick always asks about prime costs. I'm curious to know, I'm a NorCal guy, I'm a Bay Area guy. So is Patrick. We kind of run the Bay Area for Restaurant Realty, and we're expanding quickly in Southern California. We have a lot of new agents down there and things are going great, but I don't think I know what the differences are between some of your, labor costs and other things that you pay. Where are those things today in SoCal?
I mean, it depends on your concept. Like I was saying, Sharkeez can make 50 cents, 52 cents on the dollar in the summertime. And basically that's because your biggest cost is what? Labor. It's a self-service, fast, casual type operation. We have patios in some of our locations. We have like one or two servers, but when you got servers and every busboys and everything else on at every other concept, it's going to be a little bit higher. So, the upscale locations, the Palmillas of the world, we try to keep labor right around, like 22, 23%.
It's fantastic.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, that's amazing.
And then, Sharkeez and the Sandbar Tower 12, 20, 21. And then the Sharkeez, depending on the volume, I don't know. I mean, like Newport Beach can run like 12s and 13s in the summertime.
It's wild. Just for the listeners to hear, it's obviously Jordan's restaurants are alcohol heavy. That helps the bottom line.
It's the revenue too, Andy. I mean, he has such high revenue. You can only have so many people in that store.
It's just night and day to the Bay Area, though. It's just night and day right now with what we're seeing from our operators.
Well, you guys hit the nail on the head. I mean, like even the upscale concepts. So like Palmilla and Newport Beach, we opened there, we were doing heavy dinners, weekends were like $20,000 dinners. And then, it would fall off afterwards. And we put DJs in there and we started to do like a little late night Tulum type vibe with some guys that can, vibe it out for people that, want to provide a place to hang for like a place you and I would like.
Is it the roof deck? Is it open? No, still going through it with it? All right.
That's Esperanza, but no, we're going in front of the Planning Commission in October. So October 9th.
They must know you by face. And, just anytime you walk in those doors, you're there a lot, I think, huh? The planning departments.
When you get these late night sales up and a $3,500 close goes to a $10,000 or $12,000 close, it solves all your problems. You make your labor go down like that.
There's a lot of young folks out there, and I was born into restaurants because I worked in one, and I just love the pace. I loved the energy. I loved working with people at, doing all these things, serving food and, obviously trying to sell a great product. It was fun. So it turned into something that I ended up doing. What would you say to someone young who really has that in their mindset that they want to, open their own bar someday or restaurant someday and grow something big? What's some of the key things you could share with them to kind of get on the right path?
I think first and foremost, like you said, I mean, you and I come from a different generation. We wanted to learn it all, like everyone else right now. The younger generation, I sometimes feel like they have feel like something's owed to them. Like get in there, learn everything that you can, front of the house, back of the house. Be a sponge, save your shekels if that's what you want to do.
Exactly. That's really good. Get dirty, right? Learning hands-on really makes things work better in a restaurant when you're maturing in that industry.
You got to roll your sleeves up. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I get people looking at restaurants to purchase them, and it might be their first restaurant to buy, and they don't want to operate it. They want to be absentee run. I'm like, that's not how you get started in this industry. You got to get in there, roll your sleeves up, show your face to your employees, show your face to your customers, grow organically, and then maybe one day you can set back a little bit. But I think it's true. You got to do a little hard work up front.
Yeah. And if you really want to open your own place, you got to know the ins and outs of all the stuff that we're talking about. You don't just, what a lease looks like, CUPs, liquor licenses, percentage, everything you're talking about. Like you got to know somebody that can teach you that if you're in the business, because the average person coming up the ranks doesn't know about any stuff.
I got one more question for you. I do also just want to thank you very much. I'm very proud of what you've done. I'm very proud to be your friend. And I'm just shocked sometimes. I'm like, wow, look at what's going on for Sharkeez Restaurant Group. And it's all born of hard work, a lot of which was yours.
I appreciate that, brother.
I'm predicting this question has a surfboard somewhere in it. What would you do if you had to work, but you didn't need the money? And it can't be running Baja Sharkeez Restaurant Group.
If I had to work, but I didn't need the money. Yeah, I'm pretty happy doing what I'm doing now, honestly.
No, I said you can't say that. You can't,
Jordan. Say that?
Just something different. What are you passionate about outside of work, really, is what it comes down to.
Oh, gosh.
I think I'm going to have to change my bonus question soon, Patrick.
No, it's funny. We were talking.
Everybody just wants to do what they're doing.
we were talking about at the beginning of this conversation about kids and life and work. And, it's funny how your hobbies all fall by the wayside. Golf is a thing of the past for me, I'll tell you that.
Oh, God, it takes too much time.
Oh, you come home, you have 150 emails, you're on the phone the whole course, and everyone else, you're like, what's wrong with this guy? I feel like everyone else works a lot less. No, yeah, I don't know. Maybe own some sort of, hotel or surf camp or something like you said.
Well, sign me up. I would go.
I'd be interested in doing some sort of wellness center, trying to age backwards, my friend, Well,
you're doing a good job. Some of the stuff that we talk about is really impressive, and I think it lets you do the stressful job that you do because of the way you're living.
Yeah, I got my meditation in today, my red light therapy, my cold plunge, my workout.
Yes, exactly.
And so I think that working on something to help men work on their mind, body, and spirit and be able to handle the pressure of the day-to-day and whatever it is that they have going on in their life.
Got it. I love that. Everyone should hold on to that gem. I use therapy. I mean, therapy is necessary for me. So
yes.
Jordan, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on today. Patrick and I got more episodes coming up. Again, we're going to be grabbing some industry professionals to share some knowledge with you, but we got some fun, different Q&A stuff coming up. I might put Patrick through the ringer on some questions coming up so you can hear his responses. Does that sound okay to you, Patrick?
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jordan.
Cool. Appreciate it, guys. Good chatting with you.
Thank you all for listening to this week's episode of Restaurant Deal Making Exposed. If you're considering selling your business and would like a free consultation, reach out to Patrick and Andy at therestaurantsalesbroker.com or visit www.therestaurantsalesbroker.com to learn more.